I'm going to cover some of the topics like we have seen the SSIS, right? Okay. In the SSIS we have covered some of the control flow tasks. So in that there is some other task called data like bulk insert task. Okay. When I see the SSIS toolbox in the common, you can see one as a bulk insert task. So what is meant by the bulk insert task? Okay. Basically, it's a kind of same data flow task. So what is the data flow task means? You will be loading the data from one place to other place, and in between you can do the transformations. Okay, but in the bulk insert task, there is no, like you can't do any transformation. So and why we use a bulk insert task, I am going to explain. So let's say you are having some big file. Let's say you are having some big file, like the file may have some hundreds of thousands of millions of record. Okay, there's a file which is having some 1,000 million records, or just let's go with 100 million records. Okay, there is a file which is having 100 million records. So my scenario is that I want to load the file directly into the disk table. Let's say the file will have the 3 columns, the table also will have the 3 columns with the same format, and whatever the data in the file, whatever the data we have in the file, I need to directly load. There is no need for me to do any transformation. Let's say the data is correct, there is no need for me to do any transformation, and I need to load all the 100 millions into the table. So what SSIS, when you load the SSIS or when you use the data flow task, what that data flow task is doing, you will have the source, you will have the destination. Okay, and in between you can do the transformation. So what internally the task is doing, it will get all the records into one buffer memory. Like when it get the data, when it pulls the data from the source, here after getting the data from it keeps the data in a buffer, and in that buffer only you will transform them, and later on you will load into the destination. So for doing all this operation, it will use some space. Okay, even though if you don't do any transformation, like some buffer space is utilized. If you load some hundreds of millions of record, let's say there is a file which there is no need for you to do any transformation, and the columns which are there in the file, the same number of columns you have in the table. Okay, let's say the same number of columns are there in the table. Then so if you use a SSIS data flow task, then you will be using source and destination and it uses some buffer, and the process also will be very slow. Okay, so there's a in Microsoft, what it did, they introduced one task called bulk insert task. Okay, what the bulk insert task does is that it always, you can use a, but see, data flow means you can use different sources and different destinations, right? But bulk insert task, you can use only the file, and the source as a files, and the destination as a table. That's it. You can use only this one, source file and destination as a table. That the only, you can always, there is nothing like you can use source as a table, destination as a file. No, you can't do that way. You can only have source as a file and destination as a table. That's it. Okay, and it is used only at that time, because what it does, it doesn't use any buffer memory. It will directly take the data and put it in a table. That's it. So because of that, it is very fast. So how to use a bulk insert task, I'll show you now. So let's see. Okay, this is our incremental package. I'll just go with the intro package. Now I'll drag and drop the bulk insert task. So when let's say I want to load the data of this. So there is some data here, right? Desktop, test SSIS file. We'll see some data, merge, not merge. We'll see some other data, employee. Yeah, not this one also, because it doesn't have any columns. Test upper. Yeah, we'll see something. It has a, okay, up. No, not this one also. We want to see some data where it will have the column name. Yeah, okay. It is having okay, not this one also. I want to see some data. Yeah, let's take these three columns. 1 California and California, 2 Texas and Texas, 3 California, California. Give me a minute, sorry. Yeah, I'll go and create a table, that will be fine. Until then, I'll drag one data flow task. Yeah, I want to have some files so that I can show you now. So what I'll load the data from a table to a file. Okay, SSIS2 about destinations. Okay, I'll just use the existing one. Let's see if there is anything else temp. Okay, so what table we'll be seeing in the temp? Let's take something called EMPS columns. Okay, ID and name. Connection manager. Let's see the data. Okay, ID and name as some data. Okay. Now I'll drag and drop the flat file. I'll create a new flat file here. See now once again, yeah, now this flat file will be helpful. It will be helpful for you. Why? I'll show you. So in the same test files, I am creating a folder called like BulkInsertTask file. I'm creating a file called BulkInsertTask file, BIT file. Okay. See when I create, now you can see what is a row delimiter, CRLF, carriage return left. Okay. Next, when I go to the column, what is a column delimiter? It is comma. See, or else you can see here itself. Row delimiter is carriage return left, and column delimiter is comma. I'll explain you now. Okay, we have created a file with the row delimiter and a column delimiter. Column means columns are separated by commas, and how can you say the record is the next row? See, when I open any of the file, I open this file. How can the SQL server will start load the data? Okay, it will start load the first record. So we said the column is separated by line, right, comma, right? So okay, this is end of the column. So after this is second column. So there is a one more column, comma. So from there it will start the third column. So you have one more column. So fourth column. Okay, return. Once you return, see, after that the data is started in the next line. That is nothing but the carriage return left. So in the olden days, you might see how the printer does. Normally when you print a document, or now we are using the laser printer, right? Previous in the olden days you have some printer. What it does, it will print the line straight. When we reach the end, then again it will start the other line from the beginning. Okay, that is nothing but the carriage return left. Carriage means once it get end, then it will return the carriage to the left side. That is nothing but the carriage return. So from the row delimiter means whenever it starts from the left side, that is nothing but the new row. Are you able to get my point? So now I'm just loading the data. Okay, so I have loaded. Okay, done. So mapping, I have loaded. Okay, so now what I'll be doing, I'll be loading the data. I'll disable this bulk insert task. I'll load the data. Okay, now we got 5 records. I'm stopping the data. So what is the table name? I want to truncate the table. Temp EMPS. So I'll go here. It's a local. In the local there is a database called temp. In the temp there is a table called EMPS. Select 1000 rows. Now I am going to truncate it. So now what I will do is that whatever the data we got in the file, let's say now currently the file is having only few records, but currently the file is having only few records, but assume that the file has some thousands of millions of data. Okay, so now when I execute, you can see, okay, there is nothing here. And let's see the file one more time. mm, test files. It is a BIT. Okay, it doesn't have any columns, so let's write the column data also. So what is the connection manager? It's a flat file connection manager. Okay, here, because I want to store the columns also. Okay, done. Now I'll refresh here. Mappings ID. Oh, yeah, it got overwritten. Okay, I delete and I'll add one more flat file destination because I want to have the columns also, so that it will be easy for you to understand. I'll click here, create a new file. So I'll name the file as, again I'm creating the same thing again, BIT browse. I'll name it as BIT open columns advanced. Okay, mappings. Oh, cancel. Click on the BIT column names in the first data row. Okay, now I'll go here. Since I am mapped, go to the mapping ID name. Okay, now let's run the package. Yeah, sorry for that. I instead of storing that, I did the other thing. Yeah. Oh, sorry. We truncated the data, right? Yeah, one thing we can do. It's not a big thing. So open the BIT test file. Control A, Control C. Yeah, under this paste it. That's it. Okay. So now we will have data in that file. So we are good. So what we are going to see now? Uh, since I have truncated the table, that's why there is a no data loaded in the file. So anyway, we add the data, right? So I am loading them. I loaded them. That's it. Now what I'll do, I'll go to the bulk insert task. So enable. So what I'll be doing is that whatever the data I am having now in this file, I'm having some data in this file, right? So whatever the data I'm having now in this file, I'll load the data into this table. Now currently I don't have any table data, but now I'll be loading the data into the table. So how to load is that click on the bulk insert task. When I click, you can name it. Okay, whatever name you want, you can name it here. When I click on the connection, you can see only two things: destination connection and the source connection as a file. Source connection by default it is showing file. It is not saying anything. See, destination connection by default it is saying the connection and the destination table, but it is not saying any file. Okay, it means that always the source will be a file and destination will be a table. That's it. Remember this carefully. Now first we'll go with the source file. So where do I have the source file? Since I already created the connection, right, it is bit, because previously we loaded the data into the file, right? So that's it, we are good. Okay, now after that we'll go to the destination connection. Destination connection means there is a called temp. On this there is a table called emps. Okay, that is a destination table. See, temp so it is on the local host and temp database, and emps is a table. So I have connected it. Done. Now let's see the format here. What is the row delimiter? Carriage return left. Done. What is the column delimiter? It is a comma, right? It is not a tab. Tab means if you had given the column delimiter as a tab, then instead of the column, just on your keyboard you will be having a tab, right? So that's it. When you press, the space between them is a tab, right? So you can also have sometimes they will also have the tab, but mostly we'll be using the comma. I'm saving this. Now I'll go here. Now I'll change it to comma. I can type it here, but by default I can click on this, then I can see the comma here. Okay, select it. Done. We are good. Okay. Now when I run this, what happens? Whatever the data I'm having in the file, by default it will take the two columns. Since the table is also having the two columns, right? It will load the first column into first whatever the data it got in the first column, it will load into this column. Second data in the second column will be loaded into this second column. That's it. By default it will do internal mapping, but there will be no transformation. Now if I execute this, now you can see the data in the table. Yeah, I think it's taking some time. Oh, successfully completed. Oh, it failed. I think why it failed? Yeah, because we opened the package, right? We opened the file. So now I closed it. That's the reason it is failing. Conversion error, type mismatch. Okay. Invalid character for specific code page for row 1, column 1. Oh, it is an invalid data type. So what is the data type it's having? And one more thing is that whenever you want to load a data from a file to a table, okay, always it should match the same data type whenever they insert the data into the file, right? So by default, file some data type is assigned to that column in the file. So it should have the same data type when you load back to the table also. Okay, that's the reason it is not capturing. So what I am going to do now is that click on this. It's showing the data type is not matching. Let's see what the data type we got in the file. So how to see that? I can directly go here. Yeah, I can see go to the connection manager, click on the bit. What is the columns? Advanced. When I go to the advanced, what is the ID? It is an integer. Name, it is a DTSTR. Okay. So when I go to the table, so what it is having? It's ID. Name is also varchar. Okay. It's okay. That might be the issue because we copied and pasted, right? Specify code page for row 1 ID. Okay, let's try now because we closed that file. Let's try it again now. Execute the task. I think mostly it will be because of the mismatch between the data types. That's the major reason why the data for bulk insert task will always fail. Let's see. If not, then what we are going to do? We are going to load some other table, and we are going to do that. Oh, still it's being done. So progress, yeah, same thing. I'm thinking that because we copied and pasted the data, right? So there it's unable to convert the data. That might be the reason. Yeah, that might be the reason for its failure. So what I'll do, I'll just I'll go to the other one. I'm just stopping the package. So we'll load the some other table. We'll not use this file. We'll load some other data, some other table data into the file. So go here, other source, OLEDB source. I'll take the flat file, destination, click on the OLEDB source, click on the new, or else actually we got that one, right? Okay, localhost temp. Okay, you will use the same connection for but the different table EMP. So preview, yeah, you got 3 records, columns. Okay, okay, done. So now I'll connect to the flat file, click on this new, test bit, browse bit test. Column names in the first data row. Oh, sorry, I got it. Yeah, sorry, I got it. What is the error? Okay, what it's trying to do is that it is trying to take the column names on the first data row. This is a file, right? Sorry, I am again. What it is trying to do is that it is trying to take the ID and name as a it's actually, as our understanding, the first ID is a column name, right? Name is also column name, but what it is doing, it is taking ID as a name. It is trying to convert ID as an integer. So there it is throwing an error. Now I got it. So what I'll do, Control Z. So I'll just delete the first record. I'll let's say we don't have any columns in the file. Okay. Okay, done. Now it will be inserted. Now I got it. Yeah. So yeah. So we are executing the same old one. Now let's see. Mostly 99% it should execute. Let's see. Yeah. So it's successfully executed. Okay. So now if you go and see the data in the table, now you can see the data. See, oh, it is in, oh, we have run many times, right? So for each time it is inserting the data, but it is unable to convert that column name. See, that's why you can see three times we ran the package, right? So 3 times data you can see it here. But when it tries to convert the ID and name column names to the integer and varchar, there it is throwing an error. That's the reason it didn't load the two record ID and name. Are you able to get my point? Hello? Yeah. So because what it's taking this, since the first column has a column names, right? But it is not assuming as a first column as a column name. It is assuming the first column names also as a one as the record. Since the table has two columns, ID and name, ID is an integer, right? So it is trying to convert this as an integer because it is not assuming as a column name. It is assuming them as a record. Okay. So that's the reason it is throwing an error. Now it's okay, fine. So by this, what you need to understand, like in the data flow task, always, like whenever you load the data from a file to a table, that file should not have a columns. Okay, or there are other things also here you can change. So okay, accordingly we can do that. Okay, so basically now you have seen, right? I didn't even mention I didn't even did any mappings, I didn't even did any conversions. Automatically it took the data from the file and dumped the data, whatever the data it got. So in the file you will be getting two columns, so it will take the two columns and it will dump the directly into the table to the two columns directly. That's it. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, whenever you see that that the data in the the data in the file is 100% correct, and there is no need for you to do any transformations, and at the same time that column names, the source column names and source data types, and the column the source number of columns in the source and number of columns in the destination should be matching, should be equal. At the same time, all the data types in the source column should match with the data with the destination column also. Okay, then only. Yeah, very rarely. Sometimes you may have a file like 100 million records, so you don't know exactly, so there is no need for you to do any transformation. Then this is the best way to do. If you know the structure of the file and if you think the data is 100% correct, then just you can use a bulk insert tab because it is very fast. It doesn't use much system buffer memory, so that's the reason it will be very fast. Okay. Yeah. So now what I am going to do is that I am going to create one more package called checkpoints. I am going to give the checkpoint. So mostly it is an interview question. 100% or 99% they are going to ask you. Okay. So what I'll be doing in the checkpoints is that I'll create a package now, new SSIS package. I'll drag and drop execute SQL task. I'll drag and drop 3 execute SQL tasks. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'll drag and drop 3 execute SQL tasks. So what I'll do, I'll name this as a step 1. Oh. I'll name this as a step 1. Okay, so I'll connect this step 1, step 2 and step 3. So what I'll do, I'll create a table. So let's use the same table. Okay, so we are having ID and name, right? So I'll truncate the table. So now since I don't have any data in the table, Okay, so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to try to insert the data, insert into values. So I'll insert 1 comma a in the first step. So 2 comma a in the second, 2 comma b in the second step, and 3 comma c in the third step. And I'll explain why we are using this also now. I'll explain you. New connection, it is a local temp. Yeah. Okay. Done. Now I'll go here. I'll paste the statement. Control V. So now in the first step it is inserting one value. So now in the second step I'll ask it to insert this value 2 in the table. So I'll write it here 2 comma b. Now I'll be inserting the value 3 comma c. Okay, so now let's see. I've created a table now. Okay, let's say I'm inserting a 3 values, step 1, step 2 and step 3. Okay, we are good. We are fine up to here, right? So let's say this is a scenario that I might be facing. So I got step 1, I got step 2, I got step 3. There are multiple steps. Let's assume that step 1 take 10 minutes, step 2 take 30 minutes and step 3 takes 20 minutes. And I have done the completion of step 1. I completed the step 2. When I go to the step 3, the package, this step 3 might fail. This step 3 might fail. Okay, we are good. That step 3 has failed. Okay. So now after, so we found the issue, we corrected the issue. Okay. So and we update. So there is some issue. So we updated the issue. So up to there we are fine. Now what it's going to happen is that, so you are inserted. Okay, we are good. So when next time, so I corrected the issue. There was some issue with the table or something. I corrected. Okay. Now when I rerun the package again, what happens is that the package will again start from the step 1. There is, for me actually, I don't want the package to start from both the steps. I want to start the package from where it got failed. Since it failed at the step 3, I want to start the package from the step 3 itself. I don't want to start this 1 and 2 because already they are successfully completed. I don't want to execute them, and I can save like 40 minutes, right? Even though there may be some necessity, there may be some requirements for you, there is no need for you to rerun the 1-2 steps. Then is there any scenario for us to do that? So that in the SQL Server there is a concept called checkpoint. So by using the checkpoint, what you can do is that by default the checkpoints will not be enabled. So if you want to capture anything, let's say I got couple of steps in a package. Let's say the package fails at one step. Then what I want to do is that whenever I rerun the package next time, it should not start from the beginning. It should only start from the step where it got failed previously. Okay, that all things we are going to see now. Now what I am going to do in the step 3, because that ID is an integer, right? Let's say I'll insert a value with the D. I'll insert the value with the DC. Okay, done. So now what I need to do is that before doing the checkpoints, click on this, on the package, go to the properties. When I go to the properties, at the top most you can see concept called checkpoint file name, checkpoint usage, never, save checkpoints. Okay, so checkpoint file name means what system does whenever the package fails, it will store that which step the package got failed, right? So internally that it will store in the checkpoint file. Okay, it will store that information in a file. That file will be calling it as a checkpoint. And that file will be created only when the package is failed. Okay, so now I'll go here. I'll create one checkpoint, test SSIS. So I'll create a new folder here called checkpoint. Okay, so I'll name it as a checkpoint CP. Automatic, I am giving dot. Don't worry. After that, this is the file name. You will give the path where that information should be stored, right? That you will be calling it as a checkpoint file name. Next, you can see checkpoint usage. Checkpoint usage means this is the enable or disable. By default, it will be never. So now I will be using always. Always means if exists. What is the difference means? So basically you are given the checkpoint file. You are given the checkpoint file. Okay. So let's say my package failed at step 3. Then a checkpoint file will be created. A checkpoint file will be created when the package gets failed. So whenever next time when you run the package, what system is going to do is that it is going to because you are adding the checkpoint file name, right? So before starting the package, like before starting the steps, the package will go and check the checkpoint file, and it will see, okay, that file will have the information where the package got lost successfully executed. Okay, up to 2 steps it got successfully executed. From the third step it has an error. So what the package does now, the package will start execute from the third step, and when it starts executing from the start step, right, so it will do that. And at the same time, since the package used the information from the checkpoint file, right, so it will automatically delete that file. There will be no file will be there. Okay, so again when you restart the package again, since the step 3 was successfully executed, so that's the reason. And the checkpoint file will be deleted. The file, you can see the file only when there is an error in the package. If there is no error, then there will be nothing. There will be no file will be created on the. There will be no checkpoint file will be created. So when I start the package will go and check the checkpoint file. So it will see, okay, there is no checkpoint file. Okay, it will start from the first. If there is the checkpoint file, then what are the information it has in the checkpoint file, accordingly the package will execute. So what it is saying is that checkpoint usage never means it will never use. What is a exist means, if the file is there, then it will use. If the file is not there, then it will not use. So whatever I said, it is correct, right? So the file will be created only when there is an error. If there is no error, then there will be no file created. So it will be used when there is an error, there will be a file. So it will use a file. When there is no error, there will be no file. So it will not use a file. So I'll use if exist. And what is meant by always? Always means whenever I run the package, always the file should be there. Means there should be error file. Then only you can run the package, right? Okay, then only the checkpoint file will be created. So very rarely no one uses this. Means always there should be a checkpoint file. So when the checkpoint file will be created, it will be created only when there is an error in the package. So no, this is the best scenario. If exist is the common thing that we'll be using. Now that is a if exist. Then you are enabling save checkpoint. Yes, I want to save the checkpoint. True. Done. You are good. But now what happens when I run the package? Okay, even though I have created the checkpoint, I have given the checkpoint usage, I have made the check to save the checkpoint file. I have given true. Done. I have given. Okay, it failed at step 3. Now if I go and see in the checkpoint, is there any file created? No, there is no file. Now I'll stop it. I'll start it. Since there is no file, again my package will start from the step 1 again. Okay, so that's the reason. So if you see the data, since I have run 2 times, now the package will have 4 records. See, 1 2 1 2. I'm truncating this one. Okay, so now in order to do that, okay, you are given the path. This will not be necessary. You need to add one more feature. Click on each task. Go to the fail package on failure to true. On every task, you need to make that fail package on failure true. Here also fail package on failure to true. That's it. So now when I click this, see, it failed at the step 3. Now you can see a checkpoint file is created here. Okay, so now I'll stop the package. Now I'll see, since if I see the data here, because I have truncated, right, I can see only 2 records, 1 2. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to correct the issue because it is a varchar type. That's the reason it is not able to store, right? Now I'll make it 3. Okay, done. Okay, now I'll run the package. So instead of running the step 1 and 2, it only runs step 3. And since it ran successfully, see, the checkpoint file will be deleted automatically. Okay. Now if I go and see the data, it will only show the 3rd record. It will not show 1 and 2 record because we didn't insert the data, right? Because every step is, in the step 1 we are inserting the record 1 2, 1A. In the step 2 we are inserting record 2A. So since they already successfully completed, so you got them. But now it is not re-executed again. So it is only executed the step 3. Step 3 will have 3, C as a data. So now you can see only that data here, 3, C. యా కొత్త ఫైల్ క్రియేట్ చేస్తుంది. అది ఎప్పుడైతే పాత ఫైల్ని ఒకసారి యూజ్ చేసుకున్నాక డిలీట్ చేసేస్తుంది అంతే. So it is an important concept. They'll ask you why, what is meant by checkpoint. Checkpoint is nothing but whenever you want to, like basically you will be storing the execution information in the package, so that whenever the package fails in some steps, there is, so you don't want to run the again the successfully execution one. You want to run the package from the where it got failed. So in order to store that information, you will use the checkpoint. So whenever the package starts, it will check for the checkpoint file. So based on the conditions, because see, when I select this, it will show the properties of this one only. When I click outside, it will show the properties of my package. Okay, so based on the file, ఇది చాలా అంటే డిఫరెన్స్ ఆన్ ద సినారియో. అదే చెప్తున్నాను కదా, ఒకవేళ మీకు ఏదైనా టేబుల్స్ అసలు డిఫరెంట్ ప్యాకేజెస్ వాడుతున్నారు మీరు, అంటే ఒక ప్యాకేజ్లో మీరు ఇంకొక ప్యాకేజ్ని ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేయొచ్చు. అలా మీరు డిఫరెంట్ ప్యాకేజ్ చేసుకుంటారు, దేనికి రిలేషన్షిప్ లేదనుకోండి, ఏ సక్సెస్ఫుల్ ఎగ్జిక్యూటే కానివ్వండి, నెక్స్ట్ టైం ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ అయినప్పుడు సక్సెస్ఫుల్ ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ కావద్దు అనుకోండి, అప్పుడు ఇలా వాడచ్చు. అంటే మీకు సినారియో అయితే ఐడియా వచ్చింది కదా చెక్ పాయింట్ అంటే ఏంటిదో. ఓకే, ఎవ్రీవన్ ఇస్ క్లియర్ విత్ దిస్ చెక్ పాయింట్.